The 2013 Lac Megantic train crash was caused by negligent crews not paying full attention in a brake test, sending an oil train loose and making it derail and explode into a huge fireball that could even be seen from space. But, back in 1997, in the sleepy town of Elstewerda in East Germany, an almost identical disaster happened. 20th of November, 1997. A freight train is heading down the Berlin to Dresden rail line. It consists of a freight engine, operated by Deutsche Bahn, DB, and 22 fully loaded tank cars with 1.3 million litres of petrol. At Berlin-Grunau, in the middle of the night, the train had an engine replacement. After the new engine buckled up to the train, it would require a brake test, as is standard procedure. The crew rushed the test, especially since the technician had to service 3 trains at the time. The driver then said that he received a positive confirmation. The train heads towards Elstewerda station. The driver brakes as he approaches the station, as the speed limit drops down to 40 kilometers an hour. But it doesn't slow down. Ahead of him is a fully loaded passenger train waiting at a red signal at Elstewerda. The train flies towards the station at 90 kilometers an hour, and then at 6:30 p.m, the train flies off the tracks, creating a huge fireball the size of the station, and it's seen all the way from a clinic. The fire starts to spread, with the second tank car exploding. People were still eating their breakfast or taking a shower when this huge explosion happened. 30 fire departments responded with 310 firefighters working in shifts, and 62 vehicles came to help out. Rescue services used 14 vehicles and 2 helicopters to rescue those tracks. Miraculously, only 2 firefighters were killed in the second explosion, and several others were treated for burns in hospital. The fire burned down the station, rail infrastructure, other cars, the first fire trucks, and the precinct. At last, the fire stops and reveals the true horror at the station. 600 metric tons of petrol seeped out from the tankers and into the sewers and soil during the fire, and even after 10 years, it had still not all been pumped out. Several buildings in the area were completely destroyed and replaced by greenery and platforms for a new bus station in 2004. But what happened? Why didn't the train stop? As they had rushed its brake test, it turned out that many errors were made. The first error was to not connect the main brake hoses from the engines to the wagons. Filling the brake system by the engine occurred way too swiftly, without the driver even noticing. The still activated brakes were misinterpreted by the technician to have a pressure way higher than what the locomotive supplied. Instead of reporting this to the driver, he reset the brakes. The real brake test never actually happened, but the driver was given the go-ahead to proceed with no brakes working, except for the independent brakes in the locomotive, which was nowhere near enough to handle the whole train. In the end, the engine shed at the station was demolished and never rebuilt. The damaged and scorched station building was renovated. The forecourt was completely rebuilt in 2004 for the earlier mentioned bus station and greenery. This disaster helped spread awareness of how important it is for train brakes to be properly checked and maintained. Sadly, it would only take until the 2013 Lac Megantic train disaster in Canada that killed 47 people that true action would be taken.